Should we try to close that door, Carrie? Or every time we try to close it, we always have an airflow issue. So I don't know if we should try to close it or just
they
wait.
yeah, I love it.
Every time we try to close this door, it creates an airflow issue. And all these doors, like, do you know what I mean? It's the weirdest thing. And it's open up top.
Right now, they're designed.
I think, was that glass? Or that glass? Never mind, I was open up top, but that works. I think we'll go ahead and get started unless there's somebody who we know is showing up sooner later. And we have a lot of people that are maybe going to have to cancel tonight due to the roads, which is all right. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm really excited for everybody to kind of come and hear these stories tonight. Val is going to speak with us this evening. I don't know that I've actually heard your full story. I don't know that I have. So I'm really excited for Val to kind of talk a little bit about what this business has done for her. And you've been in a little over a year and a couple months maybe. And then Carrie has been with me in this business for about a year and a half, right? Is that right, Carrie? Yeah. So if we haven't had a chance to officially meet, my name is Liz Sandy. I'm a career level 5 in Northwest Iowa, and I have been in this business for not quite 2.5 years. It was 2 years in November. And it has been such a life-changing opportunity for me that I didn't know I needed, nor did I see coming. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about that too when I get into my story, but it has been such an eye-opening experience what this business can do for people and just how it can change so many different lives in the ripple effect of what this business can do. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about my story yet. I'll let Val go ahead and start, and then we'll have Carrie come on up after that and move on from there. So without further ado.
Thank you guys for coming tonight. My name is Val Huber, and I live in Tea, South Dakota. I'm a level 3 executive consultant with Rodan and SIOUX. Like Liz said, I've been in the business for just a little over a year, and it's been the best thing that's probably ever happened to my family and I. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 little ones, so life is busy with us. They're always on the go and demand lots of attention. But that's one of the great things about this business is that it works around your family. I work full-time at a hospital in Sioux Falls. And I've been there for about 4.5 years. So I work in healthcare and I work in radiology, doing x-rays, CAT scans, and ultrasounds. And I love helping people. Something else about me, I'm shy by nature. I'm very introverted. I'm not very outgoing unless I'm around outgoing people. But before getting into Rodan and fields, I knew nothing about dermatology or great skincare habits. Like growing up, we used Clean and Clear from Walmart and Oxy pads. That's what we used. And so that's all I really knew, but we still had blackheads and pimples growing up, so was it really working? No. And what else? Sorry, I get a little sidetracked up here. Oh, and yes, I'm not the best public speaker either, but if you would have told me a year ago before joining that I'd be up here talking in front of you all, I'd say you're crazy, I would never do that, but here I am doing it, I guess. So, a little bit about my story. I grew up the youngest of 6 kids. My parents were divorced, and life was very, I don't know. I had a happy childhood growing up, but I could see financial stress in my parents with 6 children. I remember one day, I don't remember how old I was, but my dad got the mail, and he's opening up all these bills, and he's just got that financial stress on his face. And you could just tell. And I remember going outside that day just bawling because I'm like, am I ever going to go to college? And so that day, I learned a lot about financial stress at a very young age and what it can do to you. I never wanted to do that. to my kids and my family. And so I decided I was gonna work my butt off in school. Sorry, I never thought I'd cry.
It gets you. It does, yeah.
First time talking about it.
No.
So I decided to work my butt off in school. I played sports thinking I might get a scholarship. And I was gonna work my butt off in school. And so that's what I did. And in high school, if there's an assignment due, I would stay up till 2 doing it because I needed that A. And then in college, people would always ask me, like, why do you work so much? And I'm like, well, I don't mind doing it. It was one of those things I needed to do it. I didn't want the financial stress, the financial burden to own me like it did with my parents. And so my normal day, I would work 8 to 16-hour days. And that was fine to do in my 20s. Like, you're young and you can do that. But when you start having a family, you can't do that after a while. And so working 8 to 16-hour days, I would go to work with makeup on, caked on foundation, and then when I get home, I'd be exhausted, and I'd just go to bed. And so I would not wash my face. Like I said, growing up, we didn't have good, like, great skincare tactics or routines that we did. And so after a while, it started to age me. And I didn't realize that by not washing your face consistently, it ages you 7 times faster. And I noticed that there are days that I go to work that I would have coworkers who were very sincere about asking me, like, are you sick? You look sick today if I didn't have makeup on. I'm like, no, it's fine. I still have my foundation on. And so that was kind of a wake-up call and a sign. And so after my daughter was born, I got a daytime job, so I didn't have to work 2 part-time jobs anymore. And after my daughter was born, Laura had reached out to me about what I was using for skincare products. And I told her I wasn't a good face washer. I didn't wash my face very much, which is disgusting to think about now. But that's the honest truth. And so she sent in a mini facial to try. And I tried it, and I could not stop touching my face because it was so smooth. And anything that I had used before never felt that smooth on my skin after one-time use. And so she invited me to an event, and our mutual friend Mandy had just joined her in the business. And I had not seen Laura for a long time because life gets busy. Family, kids, life, just, we get busy. And so going in, I walked in and I saw Laura's skin and her smiling face and her long, luscious eyelashes. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, they work on Laura. Why can't it work on me? And so I started asking her questions about products and then asking her about her business because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, we need something to have some extra income coming up. So I just got a day job and kids and expenses were going up and my pay I had to go down a little bit. And after a while, it was going to catch up to us and we were living from paycheck to paycheck. I didn't tell Laura that, but
you told me you wanted sunless tan.
I just wanted sunless tanner. And I was sold because
oh my gosh,
that's amazing. And I saw it worked on Laura. And I knew if it worked on her, she would not sell me something that wasn't going to work. And more about the business, if Laura was doing it and Mandy was doing it, these are full-time, they already had full-time jobs, they're busy moms, they would not do something that was not worth their time. And so I just went in with an open mind. I slept on it that night, and then I joined the next day, and I have not regretted it since. You know, sometimes when you purchase something and you're like, ooh, I got a bad feeling about that, which I did not too long ago. I've never had that feeling with creative fields. If anything, I've only had confirmation like, yep, I'm doing this, and yep, going to convention, like that confirmed everything. Like I'm meant to do this. And so, yeah, just going into business with Laura and Mandy, and like they're gonna tell me what to do. I'll have an open mind, and they'll help guide me to be successful like how they are. And that first month when I joined in February 13, in that 2 weeks of listening to my leaders, I had hit my first promotion, and my first paycheck in 2 weeks was $411. And that was enough where I didn't have to go clock in for someone else. I could be home with my kids. That meant so much to me, to not have to work another job. I can put my time, my effort into something that's going to benefit my family and I long term than going and clocking in for someone that's going to be a short-term solution. And so over the past year, the more I listened to them, the more people wanted to join my team, and the momentum was going. Convention came around, and I'm so glad I went because it was an experience that it was amazing. And it just confirmed that doing this business was what I was meant to do. And the people that I'm working with, they're so positive, they're so supportive. I remember this last month, I messaged Laura because I think I was PMSing that day. Just having a bad week. And she just said a few encouraging words. And like that, I was back to, I don't know, I just needed that. And so you make friendships and have people you can lean on when you're not having your good days, because we all have bad days. And then, yeah, just, I don't know, this past year, not having to live paycheck to paycheck, it has been a huge blessing, because when you have that financial stress and that burden, I get really frustrated because I'm like, I'm in my friend's shoes right now, and I didn't want to be there. And so if this past year that I could not living paycheck to paycheck, now I can dream bigger, because now what's next? And so it's just an opportunity that I hope you all look into, because it's very worth it. Whether you're doing it for financial reasons, maybe you just want, I don't know, extra money every month. It's whatever you want it to be, and Liz will get more into that too. But I would just signed up for great skincare and a bigger discount, and I ended up finding something that I didn't realize at the time. I'm like, oh wow, this is a really huge opportunity. So what I want you to leave with tonight too, from my perspective, is whether Liz, Carrie, or I tell you how amazing this opportunity is, and Liz is going to talk more about what it can do for you, but whether we tell you about the opportunity, or if the proactive doctors would walk through that door right now and they tell you about what they've all done, where they're going, and they want you to partner with them, that's what we're offering you tonight too. And so we all have busy lives, and like growing up, I could have let financial burden be my excuse, like, oh, that's the way life's gonna be. Like, you can let that own you, or you can own it and change your future. So it's really up to you. But thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Love you, Mel. Yeah.
Sunless Tanner. Who would have thought? Sunless flippin' Tanner. Oh my gosh. I think that's fantastic. I loved it.
That was awesome. I love hearing your story. I've heard bits and pieces of it in the past, but to actually hear each one of our whys and our stories of why we do this business is phenomenal. So if you want to turn around and get more comfy, those who are sitting facing backwards, feel free to switch around, you guys, or see if you'd like. So I'm Carrie Lee from Spirit Lake, Iowa, and I'm so excited to be here to share a bit of my story with you guys and why I started this journey a year and a half ago when Liz, Sandy, my sponsor, reached out to me. Actually, I steal this line from Laura. She said it. I need to give you credit for that because I did steal it from you. But I was Facebook stalking Liz for a very long time, and Laura said that a long time ago, and I did steal that from you. So I was faithfully Facebook stalking Liz, and Brian reminded me, my husband reminded me of that today, because he brought that up and said, you know, you did Facebook stalk her for a long time about those products. But that's how my journey started. Is I needed good products for dark spots that were all over my face. And back up, slow down. Okay, so I'm from Spirit Lake, Iowa. I'm married to my husband Ryan, and we have 3 kids who are now 13, 10, and 4. I'm a registered nurse by trade, and after my 3rd pregnancy with my daughter Madison, I had dark spots all over. So that's why I was Facebook stalking Liz, is because I needed good products that worked. I had been using really, really good skincare. What I thought was good skincare that I was buying at department stores, spending a lot of good money on it, because it was not doing anything to change the dark spots that were popping up all over and continuing to come. And so I was seeing Liz post these amazing before and afters on Facebook. And me and my nursing background, to be 100% honest, I was really skeptical. I was looking at these pictures thinking, there is not a chance that these can be real pictures. There's no way that these products can actually work. And so I followed her and I watched her post more and more and more pictures. Until you start seeing these pictures of people that you know. Whoa, there's Liz's before and after. Okay, I know Liz. She's a real person. And here's her real before and afters. These products actually work. They are transforming her skin. Okay, now let's get really down to top. So I messaged Liz, and Liz said, well, let's meet. And I went to cancel that meeting with her, and I was like, okay, how do I get out of this meeting with her?
Gosh, that makes me feel good.
And I'm a mom of 3 kids, and there's not a chance that I'm going to be able to afford these products. You guys, these are the things that I was telling myself because I'm a mom of 3 children. I'm going to say that a billion times tonight. Because financially, as mothers, as humans, how do we take that money and how do we invest it in ourselves? It's really hard as parents to do that. It was hard for me to do that. And so Liz was coming to the house, and I was trying to think of all the excuses I could think of ways to tell her that I couldn't afford these skincare products that I knew that I needed, that my skin needed. So anyway, she comes to the house and she sits down to talk to me about these products. So I want to tell you another little backstory. My family had been praying for change in our lives. Okay, so we have these 3 awesome kids, and our daughter, who at the age of 2 went through a really, really big life event that was not fun. She was abused at her daycare. And if you have children and you love your kids, you know how absolutely difficult it is to trust somebody else to watch your children. And you turn your children over to them every day, knowing that they're going to be cared for. And when they're not, and if they're not, it absolutely breaks your heart. So I'm able to stand up here and talk to you about it because I've had a lot of therapy, you guys. A lot of therapy. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, God. Our family needed change. So me working in nursing, and my husband's a state police officer. He worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He was always on call, which for the major crimes unit. So he was seeing some really tough, really bad things as we were going through this major life event with her daughter. We were praying for change. I talk about praying for change. We were praying for things like winning the lottery. A family member giving us a lot of money. We don't come from a family of money, you guys. So that's what we were praying for change like that. And, a money tree would have been really perfect at the time. But I just couldn't find it. So when Liz came to talk to me about the product, she did something really, really smart. She knew that this business opportunity was something that had changed her life. She'd watched it change her cousin's life, which she's going to talk to you about, and her cousin's sister's life. And it was changing her life, you guys. Liz made a decision to partner with the Proactive Doctors. And this was a decision that she offered to me as well on that day back in July of 2016. She gave me the opportunity to partner with Katie Rodan and Kathy Fields. And I sat there thinking, I've got more objections that I can rattle off. I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to do inventory. I don't have time for deliveries. I'm a mom of 3 kids again. I don't have time for this. How am I going to make this work? And I know I can't work 4 shifts. I know I can't be away from my daughter. I know I don't have anybody else to watch her. I know I don't trust anybody right now. My husband's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What am I supposed to do, God? Just leave me. What am I supposed to do? And listen, Carrie, it's simple. This business model is simple. There's no inventory. There's no deliveries. The company does all of that work for us. The compensation plan of this company is unlike any other. The doctors pour into us and compensate us immensely well. And then she broke down to me what her monthly pay was, you guys, Liz, my jaw had to have dropped on the floor. Like, what? You could do what with this income? And I thought to myself, if her success could be my potential, if this is something that I could honestly do, then maybe I could get home with my daughter. So on that day, I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, hey Ryan, what do you think about me starting a skincare business? You guys, I was thinking that he would be my second line, my way out. That by calling him, he would say, yeah. Okay, there's no way you're doing this. You're not a salesperson. You are an introvert. You don't have the money for it. You can't do this. But what did he tell me? He said, hey, hon, what if this is the answer to the prayers that we've been praying for? Dang it. Okay, Liz. Teach me how. So Liz told me it's very simple. You plug into our team culture and you do what we teach you to do, and it's very, very simple. And she was not kidding. It's very simple. It's work. You plug into it. You do the work that our leaders teach you, and it's very simple duplication. And you guys, by plugging into that and having some amazing, amazing business partners, women, teammates. I don't have any men yet, so I can't say men. Christina does. We have a man on our team. Join me in business and grow with me as well. After 8 months in the business, I had matched my registered nursing income, and after 9 months, surpassed that income. And that continues to grow because this company is built on residual income. And what that means, you guys, is we all have skin. Everybody's washing their skin. And so this company is based on products that people continue to use. It's not like another purse in a bag. We all, love to have them, but who needs 15 of them of the same thing? So every month, nobody's going out and buying new purses or new bags. We have them, we have stash. So our skincare, we want to take care of ourselves, and we want to wash our skin with good skincare. So it's renewable. It's a source that we want to continue buying and purchasing and using. We use it up and we repurchase it again. It's residual income that keeps coming in month after month after month after month. Okay, that's how this business works. And so that was something that when I was looking at it as a business opportunity and Liz explained to me how the company works, it was something that I was really, really intrigued by. I thought, what do I have to lose? The business has a 60-day money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work for me, the doctors will pay me back my investment, and I will have lost nothing. Instead, the opposite happened. I didn't turn my business kit back in. The physicians, the doctors, the dermatologists actually reimbursed me my entire business kit money and said, hey, you're doing so well in this business. Keep your business kit, obviously, that you purchased. Here's a check back for all of your money for your business kit or for payment because you're doing so well in this company. We want to just thank you. So here you go. What other business says, hey, take this money, you're doing so great. You just want to just say thank you for opening business with us. That doesn't happen, you guys. Brick and mortar store, people would be paying that off 20 years later, trying to make ends meet. I've already paid, my investment has paid me back already tenfold, probably 20, 30-fold. And so my family is so blessed to be able to have time for it. Because I've been at home with my daughter and with my children, my boys as well. I have that time freedom with them. Not only that, but the financial stability and the blessings to be able to give more and to do more. We took our family out to Colorado last year on vacation. We were able to afford that we would have never been able to afford had I still been working nursing. Not only that, but to have the time to take away to do that. So on top of this, you guys, our company is sending my husband and I to Banff in May on an all-expense trip. I know my husband and I are so excited. We feel like it's a second honeymoon because we would never take the money away for us just to take a trip. So for us to be able to go, the company is saying, hey, you're doing so well at this. Here's a trip, an all-expense trip for you and your husband. Go, enjoy each other. Go. Like who does that? And that's not just for me because I'm somebody and that I started at a certain place. I'm nobody. But we work for a company that invests in each and every one of us. It doesn't matter when we start or where we start. We work for a company of incredible doctors that care for each and every one of us as their team members, and they take care of us. So I am so blessed that Liz Sandy asked me to partner with her. And that's the same opportunity that everybody in this room has to partner with proactive doctors. And it's blessed our life. So I'm going to turn it over to Liz, and she's going to share some more business facts with you guys, but that's a little bit about our story. So thank you for being here.
I always love hearing each and every one of our members speak in some capacity, and I don't ever get to hear everybody all at once. It's usually bits and pieces, usually of stories, and so when I finally get to hear, Val get up and tell her story, I get tear-eyed too, because I can cry at the drop of a dime, especially when I'm pregnant. So bear with me, because emotions can flow really easily for me too. So thank you, ladies, so much for that, and for being so transparent and sharing with everyone. So like these ladies had said, I started about 2.5 years ago, and my story kind of begins in a different place than maybe both of them. My husband and I relocated back to the Lakes area in 2010. My husband's born and raised in Spirit Lake, and his family business has been there. And so we were drawn back to that because he eventually wants to take over that family business. And I didn't really quite know what I was going to do. And real estate tend to be what was at the forefront. And my grandma had been really active. She started the first RE/MAX in the state of Iowa back in the 80s. And so she was really big on getting me to do the whole real estate thing. So I jumped into real estate in 2010, which, believe me, 2010 was not a hot year to hop into real estate. It wasn't exactly like people were flying out and buying houses. But, we had no children. I said, I'm going to do this come hell or high water. I'm going to succeed. And that's what I did. I invested all of my time, efforts, money, nights, weekends, holidays into this business that I grew up myself. I mean, as a realtor, you're a third-party contractor. You're not guaranteed a paycheck. You need to go out and you need to sell. And if you're not selling a house, then you're not making money. And so, and the overhead, many people don't realize of realtors is actually quite astronomical. And the, thick of things, as you start kind of moving and shaking a lot more, I'd say my overhead was around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, just to kind of give you a little bit of perspective. And so it is quite expensive as you get going. Just like anything else, you start making more money. And your cost of doing business also goes up as well. So that was kind of what I was seeing. I was producing and making this great income that my husband needed to pay off his law school loans with. So I was working that debt down and got it all paid off, thank goodness. And real estate was a great blessing for us. And then we had kids. Our first son came along in 2014. I was 4 years into my business. I was moving and shaking at that point. And the next year, he was a little over 1, and I paid off his loans at that point. So I was feeling good about where we were at. My husband had a great job. And I don't necessarily want to say that I was financially looking for anything, because I don't think we were. I think we were in a really good place. And I always thought, I have it made. I'm self-employed. I work for myself. I'm making all this money and da-da-da-da-da, right? And I thought I had, the world beneath me, and that this was my long-term vision for the next, however many years. So I wanted to retire at 55. I told Johnny, I was like, I'm done with real estate at 55. So I'll come back to that in a minute. But in the meantime, the previous year after I had my son, I had been watching my cousin Nancy out of Austin post on Facebook about this company, Rodan, and I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I cannot believe she's doing this company. This is horrific. I almost blocked her on Facebook. She was very overwhelming to me. And it was like one of those things where it just put a bad taste in my mouth, because I never thought she would ever do one of those companies, right? Because believe me, she was educated. She's actually married to my cousin, so she's my cousin-in-law. And my cousin's a very successful brand strategist out of Austin, and who, has a significant income down there and has a very successful business. So I was like, I don't get why she's doing this, right? Certainly wasn't for a hobby. She had 3 boys under the age of 4 at the time, because I know it's not that she was looking for somebody to fill her time with. And so she came to me to talk to me about this, and I really didn't think that this was something I ever wanted to do. Believe me, I was too good for it, too educated. I had a very successful business. Why would I ever give this a time of day? But at the core of everything, I had really bad acne. And thankful for this pregnancy, it has slapped my face hardcore for the last month. It's been really horrific, but got a lot of those hormones. But ultimately, I knew that maybe this is something I want to look into because I've watched her go this business. When I actually gave her the time of day to actually talk with her about it, I realized she had surpassed my realtor income. That took me approximately, you know, at that point I was 7 years into my business. Excuse me. And when she told me what she was making, I about fell over because she was doing this with 3 boys under the age of 4, all at home. And I'm like, okay, here I am working my tail off, spending $3,000 to $4,000 a month, building this business, filling my funnel constantly, chasing a bunch of leads. And believe me, there are a lot of leads that go nowhere in real estate, with especially with tourist area, right? Be a lot of crazies that just want to look at a lot of really high-priced homes on the lake, and you spend a lot of time away from your family. I mean, I was doing weekends away at open houses when my family's drinking margaritas on a boat. I'm like, this is not kosher anymore. I was not loving it. And so I realized that maybe I did need that change. And I had just come off my most horrific, I shouldn't say horrific. It was the best year yet. I had made the most money yet, but I just come off the most horrific client that I've ever had. And it was the first time I'd ever been fired. I'd never been fired by anybody. I mean, normally I get along great with my clients, right? I'm typically pretty extroverted. We have a good time. But I still maintain to this day that this girl was crazy. She was crazy. I mean, I had her house sold and a new house purchased, and we were within $1,000 of giving it done, and she pulled the plug and everything. I still maintain she was crazy. But in any event, I was at home kind of soaking in my own miseries. I'd been watching my cousin do this, and watching her having all this fun and traveling and incentives and just, you know, all this stuff that looks so grand, right? And I finally said, all right, I'm going to try the skincare. I've been holding off for so long because I don't want to spend the money on the skincare. And I was already on Proactive for 15 years, you guys. So it's not like I didn't know who the Proactive doctors were. I knew their stuff worked. It's just I had grown out of it. My skin had matured. It had changed throughout pregnancies. I knew I needed something different. And so lo and behold, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, I canceled my Proactive account, and literally within 15 minutes, my cousin messaged me. She said, I'm sending you a free regimen, and then let's talk about this business. And I was like, well, if that's not a sign, I'm not sure what it is. So I said, let's do it. And sure enough, within 3 days, I realized my acne was clearing up. It had never cleared up that way before, especially on the Proactive, even with the Proactive. And I realized this was skincare I was going to be on for the rest of my life. There's no way I could use anything else, period. And I tried a lot of different stuff. I mean, a lot of other high-end lines, everything to from oxy pads and Neutrogena on the shelves to high-end dermatology stuff, you know, behind the glass counters. And so I knew that this was it. And so I jumped in and I thought, you know, at the very least, I'm going to get my kid money back and I'm going to pay for daycare. Let's just start there. And my first month in business, I made approximately a $700 paycheck. And I realized, oh my goodness, I had a couple parties where people could come over to my house, drink some wine, and hang out, which I tend to be pretty good at anyway. And I shared about what this was. And people were buying these products. They loved them. They turned around and they bought some more. And I realized that this is a residual income concept that does not exist in real estate. It literally does not exist. The average person turns around and buys a house every 9 years. Every 9 years, people. It's like, you know, the average career is what, 40? So I might get a client 3 times. I mean, it's just crazy. So I realized I needed to plug into this because for me, we were getting ready to have another baby. Tommy came along shortly thereafter. Pretty much my entire time I was starting my business, I was pregnant. And I knew we wanted to have 3 or 4 kids, and here I am pregnant with baby number 3. And this has been the best blessing that I didn't know I needed because this has allowed me time freedom like nothing has ever given me before. I thought I was my own boss. I actually had like 10 or 15 bosses at any one time, right? Because you have clientele that you're running your tail off for. I didn't want to plug in and work those 40 years, you know, to retire off 40% of my income. Well, what kind of retirement is that? I wanted life on my terms in a different way. I wanted to think out of the box in a completely different way that most people have never ever looked at before because it doesn't exist, right? Why would people think differently when no one's ever been able to see how this is done differently? Well, these doctors have given us 2 goals. They wanted to bring dermatology home to the masses, and they want to create individual wealth like you and me. And that's how this business started. These doctors don't even take a paycheck from this company. That's insane. They're already billionaires. They don't need to work. And they're still in practice today. They're still seeing patients today in the Stanford, in the Bay Area. They both teach at Stanford still. They are the most world-renowned dermatologists in the world. And I think as maybe Val said, we know they've already done this once, right? We know what Proactive has done. It's been around for 30 plus years, right? Rolled out in the 90s. It completely broke the platform of multi-med therapy. Neutrogena turned them down left and right and said, heck no, no one's ever gonna wash their face with 3 steps. Well, they proved them wrong. People said, what are you doing with an infomercial? Obviously, we still see those infomercials today. And what do they still own? 80% of the global acne market. What other company can you think of that owns 80% of any global market? That's insane, you guys. Starbucks doesn't even own 80% of the coffee market globally. I think it's like 40% or 38%. It's insane to know what these doctors have done. So when people say, well, why is that skincare any different? It's like, oh, let's talk about this for a second. You think we're only going to be around for a couple of years? We have longevity of $1 billion brand that's already been built up once. And guess what? They've entered a whole new arena with anti-aging, and they're going to do it again. Mark my words. And the only difference between Proactive and Rodan and Fields is they're asking people like you and me to partner with them. So what's changed? In 2008, they pulled this actually off the glass shelves, right? They were in high-end department stores. They were in Nordstrom's. They were already there. We were the #1 clinically sold brand in Nordstrom's. And people were flocking to the stores to buy it. They wanted it. And they were noticing people's skin change. And so what's happening is they were realizing through their market research, because these doctors aren't dumb, that the way they were growing was through word of mouth. Friends saying, oh my gosh, what's going on with your face? I almost love that, right? As all this has happened, Facebook's rolling out in 2008. And what do we start recognizing, right? The word of mouth and the recommendation of a friend. So Amazon blowing up, right? All of these different online companies are basically blowing up, right? You've got like these new companies that are market disruptors like Uber and Airbnb, who are completely different concepts. And so they wanted to be that different concept. Like Carrie mentioned, we don't do deliveries. I don't got time for that. We don't do money handling. Heck no. I already have a hard enough time paying my own bills, right? Like I don't need to do a whole other business. We don't do any inventory stocking. I mean, you hear about some of these other companies where these women are turning their entire rooms into wardrobes, and it's absolutely asinine. It's crazy. We have no sale minimums. If you can do whatever you want with this business, whether it be a shameless shoe fund or completely change your entire life with $100,000 a month, believe me, it's happening. And so that's what I love about what they've given us is they've taken this and they basically entered a space of e-commerce. They're giving us this platform with a brand that's completely recognizable, that people pay millions upon millions of dollars, believe me, my cousin accepts those paychecks, for him to create those brands. They're creating this brand for brand recognition that we already get to leverage. And so we have no market front. The only overhead we have is essentially our website and the product you use for yourself. And if that's not smart business, I don't know what is. I actually have a business partner, one of my very first business partners, who joined me in business. She was a bit of a skincare guru, started this, didn't quite catch the vision, and has since reopened her own med spa and sat me down after she's watched me for 2 years and she's finally said, I get it. I get it. She's paying loans on $500,000 lasers. She's paying loans on rent. She's paying, and she's constantly having to book business to get into those doors. And if she's not there doing those lasers or seeing those patients, then she's not making a paycheck. You guys don't have to do any of that. It's insane. It's amazing to me. When I tell people what I make, and they say, okay, yeah, but what's your overhead, right? Just like I would with real estate. Okay, fine. If I'm making, $100,000 in real estate, but I'm paying $4,000 a month in overhead, what does that mean, right? So obviously you have to kind of net that out. When I can tell people, well, my paychecks right now are varying between $6,000 and $7,000 a month right there, and my overhead's $125 a month, people are like, what? It's crazy. So what this is doing is we are completely blowing the platform floor of any other concept before. Because believe me, we are nothing like any other MLM. We are nothing like any other direct sell company. We have plenty of other members of this team that have maybe done some other direct sell companies that can tell you we are different. The other thing that I love about us being a little bit different is our team atmosphere is completely different than anything I would have ever expected. We actually happen to fall on the fastest growing team in the entire company. And by that I mean my cousin's team that is under $1 million, the fastest growing team under $1 million, and her sister's team over $1 million is the fastest growing team over $1 million. So we literally stacked with 2 leaders that corporate is dying to get their hands on and figure out what they're doing. So when I say that we have the best training and we have the best leaders, I can tell you with certainty that we literally have the best leaders above us that can show us step by footstep how to do this business, how to work this business, how to talk, how to present this concept in a very simplistic way. When I say a monkey can do this business, I mean a monkey can do this business. You just have to do the work. And it's pretty amazing what happens when you plug in and actually work this business and see where it goes. So this e-commerce platform that we have now leveraged is now in 3 countries. We are in the US. We just launched Canada 2 years ago. We only just moved into the Australia space this last year. And we are so ground floor, it's not even funny. When I tell people how untapped we are, it's unbelievable. I go to these corporate events and I meet these leaders in different areas and I realize not only are they not doing what our team is doing, but I see how small they are or how they aren't growing. And I know that what we can take advantage of and what we can share is something special. And it is so exciting for me to see what this can do for other people. I think that was the other thing that really caught me off guard beyond this team atmosphere is really truly how intoxicating it is to see this business change people's lives and not just a little way. You guys, when I get that pyramid scheme question, I just kind of laugh it off because we are so far from a pyramid scheme, which by the way is illegal. It's not even funny. You know, when I think of pyramid schemes, I think of the person at the top, right? I was talking to this girl the other day in Omaha, and there's not even one, for those of you who are consultants, there's not even one RFX in the entire state of Nebraska, not one. And that means, and there's maybe a handful of leaders in Omaha alone. My sister was just at the corporate event there. She said it was so small, it was unbelievable. All she wanted to do was just go door to door afterwards to share this gift. It's unbelievable how untapped our Midwest is. But you guys, when I tell you that we have 300,000 consultants in the company itself, maybe of that, less than half are actually working their business. And of that, I would say maybe a third are actually making a substantial paycheck. I would say 2/3 are making maybe $100 or less each month. So when I say we are not even close to saturated, I mean we are not even scratched the surface. We do not have enough consultants to even touch one state in the United States right now, let alone 3 countries, let alone march around the globe. So these doctors have a plan to consistently roll out new innovation, and believe me, we have the forefront of innovation when it comes to skincare. But we also have the plan to roll around the world the same way we have with Proactive and completely dominate the global skincare market with anti-aging. So 2019, we're expected to be at $180 billion in global anti-aging skincare markets. And we only just broke $1 billion last year. So that just goes to show you how big this space is and how little we are right now. And what this potential is, it just gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps. I cannot even tell you how small we are and how much we have yet to grow. And it's so exciting. So that's where our company is headed. So today, like I said, I now get to kind of laugh off my real estate career in a way. I'm actually debating not even renewing my license this year because I don't even see the benefit in chasing a lead anymore because I could plug into somebody else and change life with this company. It's just not even worth it to me. So yes, I have replaced my real estate income now, which is fantastic. I did it in about 2 years, which is unbelievable. I never thought I would do that. Trust me, my husband never thought I would do that either. Not that I wasn't capable of it, but that he just didn't think that this company would have that. But the longevity of this company is something that we have never seen before. And I know it's going to stick around because guess what? Proactive's still around 30 years later. And 30 years, believe you me, I have every intention of sitting in Florida, sipping a Mai Tai, watching my team run. It's going to be a blast. So I will not stop sharing this gift. Believe you me, when I say that you guys are on the right team, you're on the right team. And it's so exciting. Of course, this is possible without products that work. So just briefly, I'm going to kind of go over what we have. We have a 4 main regimen base. It's a multi-med therapy approach. It's the right ingredients and the right formulations in the right order. We have Soothe for the sensitive skin. We have Unblemished for the acne. We have Reverse for those dark marks that Carrie had mentioned that were all over her face. And then the Redefine that maybe Val, is that what we went with in the roller? Which eventually I'd like to get on, but at this point I'm just an unblemished homestead girl. This is where I live. Our roller is second to none. It's been named the best spec minute in anti-aging. It's 192 mini acupuncture needles that are medical grade. Fantastic product. It will increase the efficacy of both Reverse and Redefine. So it is hands down the best product, in my opinion, if you compare with those regimens. We have our intensive renewing serum, which is basically the closest thing to Red Day you can get without getting a script. It's a time-release capsule, so you can be on any one of our regimens, and it is actually gentle enough to be on your skin, even if you're sensitive skin-based, which is unbelievable. This stuff is 20 times more potent than retinol, and believe me, it will absolutely transform your face, and it's clinically proven to give results in 4 weeks. Just crazy. Our eye cream and our eye brightening complex are fantastic, both for the eye cream, of course, for fine lines and wrinkles, and then the brightening complex for the circles and the bags. One of my more favorite products that I think most people don't realize they need it until they get it, is the hydration. A lot of people have nod their head or like, yes. Because you don't really realize how hydrated your skin is until you actually start treating it with hydration. And this will increase your the hydration content of your skin by 200% after your first use. So this stuff, whether you're oily, because believe me, if you're oily, you need hydration. That's why you're oily, is because you're overproducing too many oils because you're dry at the base. So that is one of our created molecules, which is such sophisticated technology. I love it. Our lash boost right now for any of our new PCs, they get a free lash boost, which is crazy, insane. I have never seen a deal like this before with RF. So this is a $150 retail price product for free for any new customer right now. And then of course our liquid renewing serum, we have a couple other ancillary products as well. Our record reversion paste, which is fantastic for exfoliation, our body lotion, all that good stuff. So I guess I challenge you all to really think, like I said, kind of outside that box that finally I stepped outside of when I started to look at this company a little differently. And I really realized that this company can take me places that real estate could never even touch. And I'm just at the cusp of now stepping outside of that and seeing where this company is going to take me and my family. I look forward to the day where I can tell my husband, you can choose to work if you want. And I don't think he'll ever retire because I don't think that's necessarily for him, but some people, maybe that is for them. And I know for my cousin and her sister, you know, she had retired her husband, and her husband did want to come home, but of course, when you're making $90,000 a month, who cares, right? I guess that's an option they get to have. It's crazy. But I do feel that you guys were in the right place for the right time. This is the right time to join this business. We are so ground floor. It's such an exciting company to be a part of. These doctors are second to none, giving us a gift of a lifetime. And it's amazing to get to share this with you guys tonight. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm going to say goodbye to our live feed. See you guys.